Thank you, Brian, for agreeing to join us today to tell us a bit more about Bingo Pet Salon here in downtown Royal Oak. I'm excited to visit with you and hear more about your business. So tell us the most exciting thing about your new location. You guys have moved recently and you've got more space.
We did. I can actually give you guys a little bit of a view of the lobby here. So as you can see, we have a lot more space than we used to. So it's nice because our lobby is almost the size of what we were in before. So especially with everything going on with COVID and everything, it gives us a lot better opportunity for social distancing. Clients can come in. We have an area that's set up where they can walk up to the front, drop off their dogs in a crate, have a seat where I'm sitting, and the groomer can come grab their dog, and from a nice, comfortable distance, they can discuss the groom.
Yeah, virtually contact-free. I love it.
Yeah, and we're even allowing, pretty much completely contact-free, because we're also allowing for clients to pay over the phone with a credit card, or we're accepting Venmo payments. Cash or check, we just ask that they put it in an envelope.
That's amazing. I love it. Good, going above and beyond. The additional beauty of your new location on 11 Mile is that you have parking. So
Yes.
if you're coming in to drop off your pet, you don't have to search for a spot. You just pull right into the lot, and everything's much simpler and easier to navigate.
It is, and it's nice too, because then if somebody forgets a mask, we can grab the dog from the back seat of the car, keeping the distance and everything, and allowing us to still be able to do the groom instead of having to be like, sorry, you can't go inside, we have to send you home.
That's right. Yeah, absolutely. The new location with more space, does that have more expanded capability to service more clients on a regular basis? Yeah.
Yep. So we've got before we had a large tub and then a small grooming tub. Now we have our smaller grooming tub. We have two medium, actually kind of larger tubs, and then we actually have an extra large tub, which is like the granddaddy tub. It's a 5-foot tub, so we can take our largest dogs that we're fitting in the other tubs now have a lot more comfort in the bigger tubs, so they're not kind of squeezed in. So we have capabilities of doing a lot more larger dogs, which at our salon we do probably 30 to 40 doodles a week, and so those are very big dogs. So it allows us the capability of being able to bathe and wash those dogs in a more timely fashion, to where we're not throwing our schedule way back off when we have large dogs. And before we only had 3 grooming booths that our 5 staff members had to share. We now actually have 6 booths, so every groomer has their own booth, and our grooming assistant has her own booth. So, nobody's having to wait for someone to get on their booth. We could even operate with all 5 groomers on the same day, whereas before it was kind of like 3 was our max. Occasionally during the holidays we did 4, and we're playing ring around the table. Now everyone has their own table, and we've even got 3 large elevating tables, so that if people have larger dogs, instead of doing them in the booths, they can use the elevating tables.
That's awesome. Overall, it improves the client experience, right? Easier to get an appointment, easier to park, and your pet is getting better service even when they're there, right? Getting more attention.
Yeah, they're getting it's more efficient without having to rush the process. We can still kind of do things at a casual level without people being on top of each other. The groomers are much happier because they can get stuff done in a more efficient way. Having their own space is nice, especially with everything going on with COVID. They have their own space, so other people aren't putting their stuff in their area. They're able to kind of clean it and disinfect it, and only have to worry about their stuff.
I love it. Tell us a bit about your history and how you guys got started in Royal Oak. I believe that was your first location there on 4th Street, and how it's grown.
So it was actually a friend of mine who opened the shop 9 years ago in downtown Royal Oak. And I took over about 6 months after we opened, and we've been growing and expanding ever since then. So Royal Oak's definitely been a great home to us. We loved being in downtown, but there were limitations as far as our size, parking, things like that. We did look for another location in downtown, but it was difficult to find something that fit our needs. And this space is perfect for us. We're at 2,600 square feet, where before we were a little over 1,000. So almost triple the space of what we had. So, we've been here for 9 years. We're already a couple of the neighbors and where we're at have come by, and they're like, well, we hope you guys stay, because I guess this current space has been several different things in the last couple of years. So they're excited for a business that's established and is going to be around for a while. We signed a 5-year lease with 2 5-year extensions. So we
Awesome.
can, we're set for the next 15 years to hopefully be here and be able to grow.
I love it, and be a staple in our community that provides high-level service from a local family-owned business, and I love that. So tell us a little bit about, you touched on, tell us about how that shutdown affected your business, and then how you've been able to pivot a bit since then.
So it was kind of rough because it was, a very abrupt shutdown for us, as it was for a lot of industries. I mean, we were all kind of in similar situations. We found out, we kind of knew that the shutdown was coming, but we didn't really have a set date. So when I think we had about a 2-3 day notice where they're like, yeah, we're shutting down, Sunday at 9 a.m. So we called and tried to get in as many people as we could safely, because even prior to the shutdown, we had already kind of started implementing staggering our schedules so that clients were only coming in one at a time and trying to have that distance even before it was mandated. So we had tried to get in as many people as we could before, things happened. But, at the end of the day, when it came down to it, there were a lot of people that we had to call and be like, unfortunately, until we're opening back up, we don't know when that's going to happen. And the difficult thing was, initially it was a month, I think it was 30 days. So we had kind of pushed those initial clients out 30 days. And then it got pushed back another couple weeks. And it came down to the point where I was telling people, I'm not scheduling until I have a date. Because I keep having to call 30 to 40 people every couple weeks and cancel them. And that's very rough emotionally when you're going through everything else with it, and it was just kind of a push. And so what we did is when that date kind of came down to where we got something, we at least had a week's notice where I started putting on social media and sending out an email that, hey, we're going to book. So I, no joke, was taking about 400 calls a day. From like 7 a.m. till 10 p.m. I was answering calls, scheduling clients, and we had written out, me and Helen, 2 weeks prior had written out a schedule so that every 15 minutes we had a client drop off, so that we had everything staggered. And, it was very set, very strict. We kind of had to go to where if you're 5 minutes late, we may have to cancel your appointment because we can't have people dropping off on top of each other. So there were a lot of things that we had to do to that weren't normal for us. We were usually able to be a little bit more lenient on people being late, and it kind of got to the point where it was like, sorry, because of everything going on, we don't have that luxury. So that was a little rough. Thankfully, the girls were all able to get set up their unemployment pretty well. So that wasn't a big concern. We got our PPP loans pretty easily. So we got through on the first round. We worked with Credit Union 1, local bank to Ferndale. So they were great to get all that stuff taken care of. We got situated with the Royal Oak grants and the Oakland County grants, and so we were lucky in that stuff came through for us. I was on top of things as soon as those applications came out. I was spending all day filling out those applications because I knew a lot of those things were going to be first come first serve. So a lot of that stuff that day was stressful. But then once we got those answers, it took a big weight off our shoulders financially to know that, we've at least got that to where, especially because when we shut down, we were in the middle of a move. We'd already put, $40,000 into a new facility, and, not having that, PPP would have bankrupted us because we had that money already earmarked for everything to open up. And
absolutely.
It was basically already spent. We just weren't in because we couldn't get when the city shut down, we couldn't get our permits approved. So that put us back. But once all that stuff got taken care of, it was a big relief. So then I actually kind of transitioned from worrying about that stuff because that was settled. And I actually went on some forums and I was helping other local businesses and being like, hey, does anybody have any questions on stuff? We did this, we got this done. How can I help you? Because I knew a lot of people didn't have the access to those resources as easily as I did. Mm-hmm. So, I was trying to help others as much as I could.
Yeah, I love it. And honestly, local banking institutions were critical in helping small businesses.
They were.
Places like small local credit unions, Credit Union 1 helped you. We worked with Level 1 Bank, and they were small enough that they were able to help us out, and many of the folks behind us as well. So awesome that you went behind once you got your stuff taken care of. And helped other local business owners. Yeah, I love it.
And it was heartbreaking to hear. I knew I had a lot of friends who I did a program through Goldman Sachs, their 10,000 small business program. So that like tripled my network of friends who were small business owners. And a lot of people with some of the larger banks, Comerica specifically, were like heartbroken when the money ran out before they'd even handed out their first loan.
Yeah.
So I knew a lot of people who were struggling and in trouble. So thankfully the second round came through, and pretty much everyone I knew was able to at least get something taken care of. But it's very stressful, to not have that. I mean, like I said, I was lucky in that when we got our stuff approved was kind of midway through the shutdown. So I was like, I had a chance to breathe and to be like, okay, well, I'm set. How can I help other people? Because I was watching other people on Facebook and in different groups and hearing them struggle. And there were a lot of friends that I would call on a daily basis, and we would just talk about, so, what are we going to do now? How are we going to reopen? Do you think we'll be able to reopen? And there was a lot of uncertainty.
Sure.
But it's a new world we live in.
Yeah. Well, I love that you've been not only able to survive, it sounds like now you're thriving, right? Now your schedule is back open and booked, and you're providing high-level service safely to all of your clientele, which is fantastic. I love it. Tell us how we as a community support you now, as you are still continuing in the recovery, as are all small business owners here in Royal Oak. Tell us how we support you. What services you have if someone's at home trying to cut their own dog's nails. Tell us we shouldn't be, and we should get into a professional.
Yeah, it's because the problem with cutting nails at home is if you quick them, you make them bleed. That can make it so that they never let us do them again without a struggle. So it's one of those things that we understand. I mean, a lot of people came in with home haircuts, and some of them were ridiculous, and some actually didn't look half bad. We were like, wow, this is impressive.
Humans or dogs?
Both. Mostly the dogs though. But we, we had some people who were like, I did everything but cut their nails because I was afraid of cutting the nails, and that's understandable. And honestly, with a lot of things, we were like, if you can leave it, just leave it. Let us get to it once we can. We did some videos on our Facebook page. Helen did some videos on how to safely cut the nails without getting too close, how to brush your dog, how to, if you have to, how to clipper them, how to go through with scissors safely. We always say if you're going to do scissors, put your fingers in between and cut above your fingers. That way you're not getting too close to the skin. So there were, tips that she gave on how to do things in a safe manner. But as far as now goes, one of the biggest things that we've been trying to tell people, and I put some stuff out on some different forums, if you have a groomer, understand that they're behind. We're all behind. We're all playing catch up. We try to ask people, be as loyal as you can. If you can wait an extra week, please wait. We're not trying to steal clients from other places, and we understand when people have necessities. We had a client who just came in today. She's like, thankfully the first day that there was a reopen, I was able to get my dog in somewhere else. We're not offended. We understand that things were things. She's like, he had to get completely shaved out. And that was a lot of the dogs. We called them COVID cuts. We're like, everyone's getting the COVID cut this week, where it's just a complete shave down. And it's still happening because we had some people who were still not able to get in until now. But if you can, try to understand that, one, your groomers, we're all behind. So if you can stay loyal to your regular groomer, please do. None of us are looking to steal from other people. And also understand that when we say your dog is matted, it probably has to be shaved. Our biggest thing is we, unfortunately, because of our limitations in time, being able to discuss with the clients, can't go through and explain every detail to you, spending 15, 20 minutes on how your dog is matted. If we're saying it's matted, it's probably matted. It's not, for us, it actually takes longer to shave your dog than it would to do an actual haircut. So if we're saying we have to shave them, that's not just us being lazy and trying to make it quicker. It takes longer because you have to go a lot slower. You have to be careful to not nick them. So, it's not something we want to do or enjoy to do. I had a client the other day that we unfortunately had to shave her doodle. And I was like, please understand, this is not a representation of how good of work we can do once your dog's not matted. But it's in their best interest to do that because matting can cause other health issues.
Oh, Absolutely. Yeah, yeah. Well, Brian, I loved visiting with you today. It's clear that you have a passion for helping animals and helping people. Thank you for being a great community member here in Royal Oak and a business owner and a leader for other business owners, right? Helping others behind you. So I hear my dog barking in the background now. So thank you, thank you, thank you for joining us today. And I wish you all success in your continued recovery economically.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, you got it. Have a good one.
Bye.